Hey, what's going on, guys?
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Give everybody a minute to kind of chime in. I'm gonna go grab my tea. Don't wanna.
That's a perfect idea.
Yeah, we're chiming in, guys, getting real estate. Got a special guest here today, Scott Parsons, and he's gonna give us a lot of good information. So go get my tea every day.
Wait for a couple people to jump on.
Yeah, let people jump on.
Today's a great day.
Yeah.
What makes today so great?
It's not raining, beautiful sky outside, business is good.
That's right.
I'm with you guys.
That's it. That's how we do it. That's positive right there.
Oh man, what a great morning this is. A little chilly. All right,
Let's do it.
we're live, and we've got a special guest here today. Someone we work with very closely, and what he does is essential. We need him. We couldn't do business without him. So
That's an understatement. My gosh.
it really is. So Scott, let's dive into this.
Mhm.
Who are you, and what do you do?
My name is Scott Parsons. I am with Reliable Land Title. We have offices in Navarre and Pensacola. We're a title insurance agency, but more than that, we're a closing company. The business, when I first started years ago, we issued title insurance policies and lawyers did the closings. Now it's, you basically have to do closings to stay alive in this business. So that's what we do. That's the majority of our business.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't understand, we get to the closing table and a closing agent. A lot of times it's really just the lender and the realtor. That's who the buyers and the sellers deal with. But at the end, you make everything come together. So, we've got, after all the work that we've done, after all the work that the lender's done, we come back and we bring everything to you.
Right.
Because they're the closing agent. They're the ones who's got to close the deal. So we couldn't do without. We couldn't just do it without. So what is involved in closing? What is all that closing agents do and that you do?
Well, it starts out when you send us a contract and we order the title research and find out what the status of the title is, what liens are there, who the owners are, how they took title, how they hold title, what the situation is with taxes. Once we have all those facts and we have the contract, which is the roadmap for the closing, then we prepare documents, we get payoffs, we find that we get the tax bills, we get the instructions from the lender, we go back and forth with the lender to get the closing disclosure or the settlement statement correct, and to everybody's satisfaction, we send it out.
And settlement statement is basically the breakdown of all the costs, everything that goes into purchasing a house when it comes to your insurance, your appraisal, everything that you've paid for, the survey. So that closing statement is vital. Those numbers are vital. And a lot of times, and Scott has helped me a lot of times with giving those up front, so that people up front know what they're going to see at the closing table. And I love that whenever title companies do that for me, when you guys do that for me, because it helps me be up front with my client. Transparency is completely smooth, and the coordination, we couldn't do without you. So the closing statement is an extremely important document that, what's it called again?
What's the closing disclosure or the ALTA settlement statement?
Yes, the ALTA. So continue, sorry.
But as far as that goes, you seem very well versed in everything you're talking about. You're very comfortable. You're very in the know about it. What made you want to pick title insurance?
I'm kind of a curious guy.
Okay.
I kind of got an investigative mind, and when I started out, it was basically going to the courthouse and researching title records back in the ancient days when we were carving our title policies on stone tablets. So you actually had to go pull the physical books and look through it to figure out what it was. I started out over in Jacksonville and in St. Augustine. Their records go way back.
A lot of that research is kind of automated these days, huh?
Well, it's not so automated. If you're looking at it on a computer, but you're still looking at many of the same things.
Still put it in research.
Yeah.
Still doing research, yes.
Yeah, and when it comes to us doing our due diligence for the properties, we couldn't do that a lot of times without them. Several times I've called Scott, hey, I've got this property, but I have no idea if there's a road access to it or not. Can you help me figure out how this client is going to be able to receive road access to their property if they purchase this piece of land? I can't get that information without Scott. So he helps me do my due diligence for my clients. And when it comes to title searches and title liens, multiple, municipal lien searches and things like that, those are vital because you don't want you don't want to put your client in a situation where they are taking on someone else's liens and responsibility for someone else's debts because they took on a piece of property. You don't want that. Without his due diligence and his search and those title searches, it's just, I mean,
It's a mess.
it's a mess. So it's several, and I have had several things come up on title searches before that I've saved my clients a lot of time and a lot of headache.
And a lot of the things that you do for title are both for selling and buying agents, correct?
Yes.
So what are some red flags for those two?
Well, a couple of things. If you're a seller or a listing agent and you yourself or your client took title through any kind of court action, whether it's a divorce, a probate, it's been through bankruptcy, any tax deed, any of those things, when you first take that listing, call your title agent, whether it's me or somebody else, and have them take a look at it. It's no slur on attorneys, but most divorce attorneys are not real estate attorneys. Most bankruptcy attorneys are not real estate attorneys. Many probate lawyers are not real estate attorneys. And little technical things can cause you an issue. So you want to make sure up front before you go to the trouble of finding a buyer and you have a contract, you want to find out up front if you have a problem and you have something that has to be resolved.
Absolutely.
Right, because it will stop a deal like a heartbeat, just stop it and it's dead. Deal will go dead, everybody walks away angry. Not fun.
Yes.
So our due diligence as buyers and due diligence as sellers agents is that we need to really thoroughly examine the property.
And run everything through title for sure in the very beginning, like you said, make sure it's worth it.
You don't-
Saves you a lot of time and headache.
Yeah, you don't have to do it every time. It's just if you've got, and there are more red flags. I got a whole hour-long class I can teach on that.
I bet. Maybe we live on a spreadsheet. Or something.
Great with education here. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's many things that can go wrong, but if you don't have any of the red flags, you're probably fine. You don't need to get a title search up front. You don't need to do it until you get the contract. But if you have a problem, if there is an issue, like you're questioning access or it came through a court action, get somebody to take a look at it.
Right.
Very good advice.
That's awesome.
Like one thing, for instance, is courts in other states don't have jurisdiction in Florida. So let's say they got divorced, and this has actually happened. A couple got divorced in Alaska, and the property in Florida was awarded to the wife. The husband is lost out in the wilds of Alaska. Nobody knows where he is.
Okay.
She thought that put title into her. No.
Because he was lost?
No, because he had the divorce.
Oh, okay.
She thought she had it, but jurisdiction or courts outside of Florida don't have jurisdiction in Florida as a general rule.
So she was not protected.
She, I don't know what happened to the property.
Yeah.
The deal died though.
Yeah. Oh man.
I don't know if it ever did sell.
Yeah. So sometimes deals, they don't always go through. And as real estate agents, we know this. There are things that we run into that we have no control over. Scott has no control over. If you've got multiple liens on your property, or probate is tied up in probate for any reason, or you have legal issues, Scott can only he's not a lawyer. Correct?
Right. I'm the messenger.
Right. But other than that,
That's our week.
he is your closing agent that gets the majority of your deals done. So if you've got a case where there's liens on the property and you're gonna have to get yourself a real estate attorney. So and those are things a little bit different between title and real estate attorneys and Scott Parsons and Reliable. So what he does is if anything were to come up, he's gonna make sure he represents you honestly, equally, and fairly to everybody, and he's gonna complete transparency. So that's what our buyers need. That's what our sellers need. They need to know up front.
And speaking of what our buyers need, what would you think? Would it be fair to ask you what are some general rules of thumb for a buyer when it comes to the title insurance?
Get an owner's policy.
Okay.
Explain owner's policy, please.
Okay, what is title insurance? Title insurance basically is a policy that ensures that the buyer is taking title to what they think they're taking title to, so the legal description is correct, and it ensures they have access to the property. It ensures there aren't any liens that are not disclosed on the title insurance policy itself. Like it's going to be subject, if you finance it, you take out a mortgage, it's going to be subject to that mortgage. But if there's a problem with a previous owner's mortgage, then that's something that the title insurance would cover. So it ensures you hold title, that there aren't any liens against the property that are not disclosed on the title policy, and also there aren't any restrictions or easements that are not shown on the title policy.
That's important.
Right, restrictions and easements are huge.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and it protects the buyer, the
Yes.
seller, and you guys as well, right?
Absolutely.
And it also, I mean, we're all human. We make mistakes.
Right.
So there are mistakes in the chain of title, whether Scott and Reliable did it or somebody previous to us did it. So just like a life insurance policy doesn't ensure that you're going to live forever, a title insurance policy doesn't say that your title is perfect. It says what's going to happen if there's a problem. So if there's a problem,
That's great.
yeah, if there's a problem, basically the title underwriter, is going to take a look at it and either pay you whatever value you have lost, and this is their choice. They can pay you whatever value that's been lost, or they can resolve the problem through cooperation with whoever holds whatever interest it is, whether it's an outstanding judgment that needs to be paid off, or they need to get a deed from somebody, or they can take it to court and sue whoever is making a claim if the title company thinks that they are in the right and the other person doesn't really have a valid claim. So those are the three options that'll happen. So
Very informative.
It's like, extra protection. It just makes sense. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I advise people to get it, especially because you just never know. You just never know, and it's why we buy insurance on a daily basis with our bigger projects. Cars, and life insurance. It's for protection.
right. Well, back in the 80s, up to sometime in the early or mid 90s, it really was, people didn't always get an owner's policy when they purchased property and financed it. Sometimes they would just get paid for the insurance for the lender that insures the lender's interest, not the buyer's interest.
Okay.
But I bet you
Lender's policy.
Yeah, lender's policy. But I can tell you with fair certainty that I can count on one hand and not even use my thumb the number of times we've closed since maybe 2000 where somebody got a mortgage policy and didn't get an owner's policy to insure their interest.
Yeah, it goes.
Just
It usually is.
just do it. It's not very much money if you're already financing it.
Right.
Very true.
Yeah, because they have to get the lender's policy no matter what.
The lenders
They
will
can
require
choose not to get the title
Right.
insurance, but why would you not want to? The whole point of the investment is to protect your investment and
Very
protect yourself.
Yes.
So if you're going to make a good investment and solid investment, think about what you really need to do to protect it.
Right.
And that is one of them.
And protect all parties involved. That was the biggest part.
All parties
Right.
involved.
I learned.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
No one likes the finger being pointed. If someone's paid for the insurance policy, then we know it's going to be taken care of.
Right. It's like, and if you're investing, if you're paying cash for the property, excuse me, then that's when you really need it.
Yes.
I've got one I'm doing tomorrow, or next week, I guess Monday or Tuesday, out on the beach for $1 million sale. People are paying cash. You can bet your bottom dollar they're getting a title policy.
Yeah.
It costs like $1 million for a waterfront house.
Oh, yeah.
That's still a
They've got to have something.
Yes.
Because they'll have no lender's policy
Right.
because it's cash. They have to rely on what you buy.
Well, let's talk about a couple other points if you don't mind.
No
we
problem.
were talking about deals that go south on you,
Yes.
that don't actually close. One good solid thing for sellers to realize: never cancel your insurance, your hazard insurance, flood insurance, whatever, until the money is in your bank, until it's closed and finalized. Don't do it.
Okay, so give an example, like a seller. For example, with the seller.
Well, I had one a couple of weeks ago where the seller was supposed to close on Friday and buyer was supposed to close on Friday. It got hung up for whatever reason. He had already set with his insurance agent to cancel the insurance on Friday. He had to call the insurance agent from my office at 4:30 Friday afternoon. Thank God they were able to reinstate it.
Yeah,
Because it didn't disperse until I think the following Thursday.
right.
He was,
Yeah,
he was not
they
able
would
to
reinstate it. That's
They,
right.
yeah, and then that's a lot more money out of pocket for him, right?
It was a little bit.
Started
Okay,
that
so start at that
No,
point.
they
Okay.
didn't. I don't think it charged him anything. He just,
Oh,
he just
okay.
didn't get as much of his premium back.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, they were being nice,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So that's not always the case.
No.
So don't cancel your insurance policy. If you're a seller and you're trying to sell your house, do not cancel it until you have got the clear to close and you've got the check in your hand and we have closed.
Your
Yes.
check in your hand or your bank. And speaking of that, normally the way we disperse these days is by wire transfer. Now,
Yes.
let me talk about wire transfers for just a minute here, real
Yes.
quick. So there's a lot of fraud is rampant in the real estate business right now for people hijacking email accounts and sending out bad wire information.
Yes.
Ooh.
So if you're the seller and we're going to wire you your money, we're going to confirm with you either face to face or via telephone what your wire instructions are.
Mhm.
And if you're a buyer and you're sending us money, we're going to send you our wire instructions. But here's the key: you need to go online to your title company's website. If you receive an email that says here's the wire instructions,
It's
send
usually
money.
secured, like a secured email, right? Or no?
No,
No? Okay.
we're just going to send an email.
Right.
But here's the key. You go online or independently verify the phone number. Don't call the phone number on the email wire instructions. Call the phone number you find online or however, phone number you got from the realtor that goes to the title company. Call the title company and verify they sent you those wire instructions and that they're correct. We've had several attempts on our company alone, many attempts, where people have hacked into a real estate agent's account. They have copies of emails. They know what's going on, and just as it's time for the buyer,
They try to get and infiltrate that wiring.
Just as it's time for the buyer to send the money, they will send an email to the buyer, which is just like us, or just like the real estate agent saying, "Oh, the wire instructions have been changed. Send it now."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will never change any wiring instructions. Usually, anytime wiring comes up, I'm like, yes, talk to the title company.
That's it.
Clear out with them. You need to make sure you're identifying with them.
Wire instructions do not change.
Good.
Do not change.
And mostly that's something that we will let you know ahead of time, is that you do need to call the title company and set up the wiring instructions.
Or have you received the wiring instructions from the title company?
Yes.
Call and talk to the title company.
Absolutely.
Because they are the closing agent. We've done our job. Everything is passed on to you.
Mhm.
And we've got to make sure that they get what they need and that this doesn't happen. We don't want that to happen to anybody. That would be horrible.
Right.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, well, we had one last year, I guess it was. It was a seller, and he had about $200,000 we were going to be sending to his title company to purchase property down in Boca Raton. So he got wire instructions that he thought were correct, but they were false, and he sent them to us. So my folks called him, verified the wire instructions were correct. It got all the way through to my post-closing department, and they looked at it and said, "This isn't a title company, this is an individual's account." They independently verified the title company's account.
Wow.
We came that close to losing $200,000, which would come
To a person's individual's account.
Wow.
Wow.
And we would have been
Out of line. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We would have been on the hook for it.
Yeah.
It happens. You have to be very careful about that.
Very careful. So you want a company that's going to take care of your best interests. And that's why I like dealing with you a lot. And
Yes.
I definitely, I use my title companies and I give everybody my fair share. But, I know that whenever I do deals with you, I know my customers are going to be taken care of. So.
Well, and I've got a comment on that, as a matter of fact. Whether it's me or Cheryl or Ken Fountain or Carrie Ann Schultz, whoever it is that you want to do
All
closing
great times.
All great.
Yeah, you need to develop a relationship with whoever your closing agent is.
Yes.
Like I said, whether it's me or them, it's going to serve your interest in all ways.
Right.
You can always pick up the phone.
Right.
If they know you're a loyal customer, you're going to get even better service.
Right.
That's right.
It's an important thing. Same thing with surveyors and termite people and home inspectors. It's
Yes.
good to
Developing
develop relationships.
relationships.
Oh, I
And
understand.
loyalty is valued.
Yes. Yeah. And I will say though that I love whenever a seller says, "I want to use this title company." 'Cause I've heard, and they've already got it set up, and I love that too.
Mhm.
And that shows that you are out there building relationships just as much as we are when it comes to selling and buying homes. So, anything else you got, Scott?
We
Yeah.
talked about a lot of crazy things.
Yeah,
going on
crazy
with the seller,
stuff.
Right? Well, let's say it's going completely the way that it should be. What's something that the buyer should bring close?
Their spouse.
And?
All parties involved.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to comment on that. In Florida, Florida,
That's very true.
Article 10, Section 4 of Florida Constitution. Basically, if you're going to live on the property, your spouse is going to have to sign on any documents alienating interest in the property. Now, what does that mean? It means if you're the seller and you're going to be conveying the property, your spouse has to sign. If you're the buyer and you're giving the mortgage, spouse has to sign. It doesn't matter if you're separated or the spouse isn't going to live there or the
If the
spouse
titles,
is.
if they're on title.
No,
No?
if they're married.
If they're married.
And
okay.
there's no such thing as separated in the state of Florida. It's like it's either you're married
It's like
or
being on a break.
You're married or divorced.
You're married or you ain't. One or the other. It's a yes/no thing. If you're married, spouse has to sign.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I always have. That's why there was one time that I forgot to ask. So I was working with a buyer, and I was just and me and her the whole time. Get to the closing, and here comes the husband. Oh, hi.
Same. I was like, uh-oh.
I felt so because they were out of state,
Yeah.
so I never physically saw them until they got here.
Makes sense.
And I was like, I felt so dumb.
It's good.
But hey, it's what you do in real estate. You have trip ups, and
For sure.
we got everything at the end. We got it. The title company figured it all out. So that's what I'm saying. At the end, they come and they tie together all the loose ends, and they help us
Put
so
a
much.
pretty little bow on it.
Yes.
Yes.
One other thing too, if you're signing anything that's gonna have to be notarized, whether you're the seller and you're signing a deed, or your buyer, you're signing a mortgage, we need 2 forms of ID. It used to just be 1, but now we need 2. One is government issued picture ID, driver's license, passport, military ID. Second one doesn't have to have a picture. We don't want credit cards or debit cards. We can use a library card, concealed carry permit, whatever you want. The insurance, we get a lot of insurance cards.
Yeah.
Or you can just use 2 picture IDs, whichever. But that's something to bear in mind.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
great.
All right. Yeah, and a lot of people don't, and sometimes we forget to tell. So,
Well, we got one more thing
Yeah.
that you've got coming up.
Yeah. We've got a class coming up January 16th at the Nevada Board of Realtors office, Neighbor. We're going to start around 10 o'clock and go to 1 o'clock with a working lunch. We'd like some votes on what you guys want to eat when you're registered.
ooh, what you want?
Yeah, I'll get it for you. The cool thing is we're going to get a guy up from Title Resources Guarantee Company in Orlando. He's coming up to teach. It's 3 hours of continuing education credit. His name is Mickey Godat, and he is a title genius. He is really sharp, and he's funny. He's
That's
highly entertaining. So the subjects are 6 areas every real estate agent needs to know: fraud prevention, which I covered just a little bit of, and hey, that's my client, ethics and procuring cause. Mickey is even able to make ethics entertaining. So,
Okay.
That's impressive.
be there or be square.
Realtors, you will not fall asleep. Let's go to this
Yes.
class.
Well, that's an interesting. I'm definitely gonna attend that class. I love the continuing education that Name Board provides, and we love when people, provide it, like
Yeah.
title companies. And I look forward to meeting him.
Sure.
So, anyways, guys, this has been an extremely educational sit down with this man here. So, if you guys have any questions, please
Send
leave
us a
comments.
message, leave a
Send us a
comment.
message.
All
We'll
the
get
above.
back to you. Scott has a lot of information, and I am so grateful that you are here today to share it with us.
Yeah, man.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Guys, if you didn't catch it, it is Scott Parsons with Reliable Land Title. Go to their Facebook, go to their website, show them the support they deserve. Has been getting real estate. Rod the Realtor.
Christy B.
Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye, guys.
Turn it on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure I want to end.